You know the great irony of Colorado? They got all the attention in the world that they could possibly muster a year ago, and they weren't a good football team. Now they're a good football team. People don't care as much. I've seen the television viewership numbers. Heck, I see how much content my segments on Colorado drive to the channel. It's not what it used to be. People still notice. They still pay attention and watch. It's not what it used to be. So here they are, a good football team, which I thought they would be. They're slightly better than I thought. I thought they'd win 6 games all year. They've won 6 games right now. They have not won their final football game after knocking off Cincinnati 34-23. This is a solid lean win outing here for the Buffs because you go out with an opportunity at home against a somewhat surprising Cincinnati team, and you show pretty clearly, yeah, we're just better. Just better. I still don't know if Colorado can win the Big 12, but I certainly look at them as more capable of doing that than I did a few weeks ago. And I think this version of Colorado is more capable of winning the Big 12 than a few weeks ago. So a good outing for the Buffs. But they might, I want to use my phrasing very carefully here so as to not upset folks or to make you think that I'm trying to upset you, because I'm not. I come on here and I give my takes one way or the other. I get comments all the time or remarks from people. You hate this team. I'm like, what do I hate about that team? I came on here and I gave a thought. Colorado coming down the stretch has got kind of a workable schedule. It didn't look as workable before the year at Kansas, Oklahoma State. I'll talk about Kansas more in just a moment, and hosting Utah. But they go at Texas Tech this week. You talk about the biggest outright loser of the Big 12 this week, Texas Tech. Baron Morton gets hurt. You blow a 17-point lead, and boom, conference title race is no longer in the cards for Texas Tech. Tough look for the Red Raiders, blowing a 17-point lead, missed a field goal, fumbled the football, had every opportunity to win, and just couldn't quite do it, which, unfortunately for Tech fans, is kind of how they felt pretty often in recent years. Like, the potential's there, they're just a little bit short. Defense, not good in Lubbock for Joey McGuire and company, but the Big 12 conference standings are currently BYU and Iowa State undefeated, followed by Kansas State and, wait for it, Colorado. You realize if Colorado had been able to hold on to a late lead and get one stop at home against Kansas State with less than 2 minutes to go, they'd be undefeated in the Big 12 right now. So everybody out there, I've been trying to warn you of this for several weeks now, but I'm sure you're beginning to realize in full focus. Anybody that doesn't like Deion Sanders and doesn't care for him, you better look away, avert your eyes, because Colorado's good. And just by happenstance of not doing anything disastrous, aside from that one drive against Kansas State, which, hey, no one's perfect all the time, Colorado's been good. And if you just hold your own sometimes, that might be all you need, especially in the most chaotic conference in the entire country. Utah, that's an outright loss label because, oh my gosh, they lost to Houston. I picked them to win. I didn't want to pick them to win. I didn't want to pick anybody in that game. My lack of desire to pick either Houston or Utah to win that football game was more accurate than anyone who picked Houston to win the football game, because that's just ugly. It's just ugly. But boy, it just keeps getting uglier for Utah. Kyle Whittingham, I said before the year, I think this is his last season. Yeah, he's 1-4 in conference play. Not good. Not good at all. You know what is good? This Big 12 title hunt. I tell you what. So Kansas State, lean lose label here, because I look at what Kansas State did in that game, and if memory serves, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I could write these things down. Sounds like a lot of effort. Kansas State is a team I picked to win. I thought Kansas might find a way to cover. Kansas didn't just find a way to cover. They forced Kansas State to need a 51-yard field goal to win this game at home in Manhattan. Kansas looks like old Kansas, not this new Kansas that we've become accustomed to and has since dissipated from the face of the earth. No, they look like old Kansas again. Kansas State wins by 29-27. You got to just win a football game. You're not always going to play great. I wonder. I wonder about Kansas State because Colorado kind of had them in a position to lose, and West Virginia did not. But BYU blew them out every other game. Like 2 games. 3 games. 3 games of the 5 that Kansas State has played in conference play, they have not been at their best. BYU 38-9. Colorado allowing them to come back and overcome a 10-point deficit in just a few minutes and then having to, go down the field, win the football game. And then again here at Kansas. I wondered. They go at Houston next week, host Arizona State, host Cincinnati, at Iowa State last week of the regular season. That could be to decide who goes to the Big 12 championship game, but there's going to be a lot more chaos that ensues between now and then because the Big 12 is just, it's so gloriously fun, and they're on track at the moment, to be a 2-bid conference. I had them pegged as a 1-bid league coming into this year, and it's kind of hard to argue that they're in a position, haven't done it yet, still a lot of football games to be played. A 2-loss team from this league that isn't 11-2, not getting in. You're not getting in as a 10-2 Big 12 team. 11-2, yeah, you probably get in because that means you lost the conference championship game after going 11-1. But speaking of teams that just keep on winning, I hope all the BYU fans out there appreciate the sacrifice that I make to allow myself to appear foolish to some for picking against BYU every week. And I tell you what, BYU's cooking. BYU and the Spencer McLaughlin jinx are as good of a combination as peanut butter and jelly. I mean, they just go together and make this beautifully harmonious product that a lot of people get to enjoy. BYU, underdog at UCF, who had lost 4 straight. What do you know? The Cougars put up 37 points and won 37-24. Here's the impressive thing with BYU. Wasn't confident in their offense coming into this year. Felt good about that after they slugfested their way to a win at SMU 18-15. Here are their point totals since Big 12 play began. 38, 34, 41, 38, 37. I don't care how it's coming together. Jake Retzlaff is playing good football, and BYU's finding a rushing attack, and they're just good. There's no other way to describe it to you. BYU's just good. They go at Utah week after next. They go at Utah. Good old Holy War. And I tell you, I don't think Utah should be favored in that game, even though they're at home, because Utah is just not a good football team. The Cam Rising experiment backfired in a big way, and yeah, it's not going well for the Utes. But Baylor beat Oklahoma State. Yay, I guess. West Virginia beat Arizona. Not all that surprised, I suppose. I haven't been right game by game with Arizona, but I was right to not put them in the Big 12 title hunt. But I've been wrong about many things in the Big 12. The beauty of this league, everything that you have a take on that you're right about, there's at least one other thing that you're just as wrong about. Because it is the Chaos Conference, and I love it. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time, and until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.